Hey everyone, it is Kat
and Amber,
and we are Wandering Soup coming to you live from Merida, Mexico. And this week we are going to discuss safety in Mexico, but more importantly in Merida, Mexico. There's a question that's asked a lot. People send messages, is it safe here? Because of, things you read online, things that people say.
You watch?
Yeah, especially movies, right? You don't realize how much that influences you and your thought process. So we decided to talk about safety in Merida, Mexico, where we currently reside. And we're going to discuss it in a vein that's like where you may possibly encounter things. That'd be the easiest way to say it?
Yeah. High points.
Yeah. So, like, subscribe, share, and follow. Hit that bell so you can get notified as we talk about things in Mexico, and in particular in Merida, Mexico.
Let's get to it.
Let's do it. All right, so the first thing we want to discuss is the basics of Merida. So Merida is in the capital city of the Yucatan state, which is the Yucatan state, right? So if you do a quick search, generally what comes up is that it's the second or possibly third safest city in North America. North America is Mexico, America, and Canada.
That's pretty impressive.
Very, very impressive. So that right there should honestly answer your question. I mean, without even going any further, that title in any article you read should make you go, "Whoosah," right?
Right.
That's what it did for us.
It did.
We was like second, third. Oh snap! We're from America. Well, after 9 o'clock, you're hard pressed to walk the street sometimes. So to read that this is the second or third safest city in North America, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's get into again some particulars of where you may encounter possibilities of where it's not as safe.
Right. I mean, something you have to think about anywhere you are is moving around and like how you're moving around. So transportation. The biggest thing people is here usually is Uber, especially if you're not from here. So just like you would anywhere, before you get into an Uber, you have to check the tag number, like always, because scams exist everywhere. So you can't ever not do that. You have to check the tag number. You have to, just be very cognizant. I always check the color of the car if it's a given to match against the car that shows up. So, but then we have other apps too besides Uber for driving. There's InDriver here. There's Didi. Some of those track your ride, and some of those don't. So you're going to want to be cognizant of that as far as safety goes. Like, it's good to have options, and especially if you get to pay less for a ride. But if it's going to mean your safety, the risk of your safety is not as much, then maybe that's not the one you want to choose.
Right. But like Amber said, look at the tag, look at the color. When you get in the car, they generally ask your name just to verify that you are getting in the right ride, because generally, at some places, there may be 5 Ubers waiting on people. So you just need to check. So those are the steps that you go through, the same as you would in the States. If you're in a taxi, if it's not metered, or even if it is metered, I recommend that you open up Google, put in the directions, and follow along with the taxi ride.
Yeah.
Now on the Uber and the Didi app, they do track you, but the local taxis in the area do not. You need to also agree upon a rate before you get in. But if it's metered, the rate is going to be what it's going to be. But you just want to make sure that they're not taking you on a long scenic journey
To where you don't know.
Right. Well, and they just want to pad the ride because you don't know where you're going. That's really where you're going to have a problem with that. It's not going to be safety, it's just going to be your pocketbook safety.
That's true.
Next up is pickpockets. The risk here, I think, is a little bit higher than the taxi and the Uber because pickpockets occur everywhere. I've been pickpocketed in Greece. They took my passport. It's a whole other story. But here, if you're in a crowd, of course, this is outside of COVID, there's a chance. If you're in a high trafficked area where you may get bumped into by someone and you have something in your pocket, yeah, it's a possibility that it's going to get snatched. So what you have to be is cognizant of where you place your items. Don't walk around with your cell phone in your back pocket or your wallet in your back pocket if you can get away with it. If you have a backpack, don't have it where it's easy access. to your very valuable items. Don't carry a lot of very valuable items around with you as you're just going out shopping for the day. What's the necessary need of having everything that you own that's valuable on your person?
And speaking of that, I've heard an argument about whether you should have your passport with you when you go out or not. I mean, it just depends on the person, really. There are people who say pros for that and cons. I don't particularly like to do that, but like she said, do you really need to have all of your valuables with you everywhere you go?
Right. And I don't carry my passport with me. I do carry a copy. I have it electronically as well as a paper copy if you feel comfortable with that. As long as you can pull it up, you should be good to go. If it's at home, just make sure it's secure.
Right.
Right. Next up is mugging.
Which is along the same lines. I mean, obviously, there's a chance of that anywhere, but with mugging, there's that violence factor.
Right.
And I just think that that's fairly low here, from just what we can see as far as what people report.
Right.
Online. That's just not something we've seen. We have seen more of that in other places that we've been.
Cambodia.
So we kind of have something to compare it to, right?
Yeah.
And here it's just not an imminent threat.
Right. It's not. Now, what I would say, add to that is, if you like to hit the bars up and then you want to walk back home late at night, hey, things will happen. So just be careful. That's about it for pickpocketing, I think.
That's true.
I mean mugging. Sorry.
Both.
Yeah, both of them really. Just be careful. Be aware of your surroundings, and you should be okay. Next up is single travelers risk, and just from what we've seen, I'm going to give it a low as well. I just think the factors of everything we just discussed, pickpocketing, mugging, and Uber rides and things like that, it's just low.
Yeah, and I mean, I see people walking around by themselves, whether they're single or not, I don't know, but
Right.
just people walking alone. You see that quite a bit between foreigners and locals,
Right.
and it just feels okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying you aren't being looked at. You will be. What I'm saying is that you can walk the streets here safely during daylight hours without really thinking about it. You still have to be cognizant. You have to be cognizant everywhere. But I feel safe. Amber walks a lot, and I just check in with her. Hey, are you doing okay out there? She's like, yeah, I'm over by here. I'm heading back home. And we let our son go to the store.
Right.
Quite a bit by himself, so we don't have that problem. I think if you're single traveling by yourself, Merida's actually a good city to have a base in or to live in and feel secure that nothing will happen to you.
The only thing I would say, as far as just being careful, because it can also be inconvenient, you can be inconvenienced, is that sometimes Uber acts a little crazy, and you'll be somewhere and you think you have a ride, but it gets canceled or whatever, and nobody wants to be out there anywhere, and you don't have a ride. So I would just say you have to be a little bit more proactive, as far as if you're going to go somewhere that's a little bit further out than you're usually going, making sure you have your ride, set and arranged and all that, because it could be an inconvenience, probably even more so than a safety risk.
Yeah. And then factor in time.
Right.
With COVID, things start shutting down here a lot earlier than they normally would. Ubers will cease. So, you just can't be out too late here. And if you're single out, you may have to walk home by yourself.
Right.
You definitely want to consider that. And that's male or female.
That's right.
So, the neighborhoods. A lot of people ask about the neighborhoods here. And it's really interesting. They said, what is the best neighborhood? I'm not going to lie. I asked the same question when we were moving here. I'm not even going to pretend I didn't. But I want to tell you, all the neighborhoods here are good. I mean, I've never said that anywhere we've ever lived at, and I haven't seen every neighborhood here. I'm not going to even pretend I haven't, but we've been in a lot of neighborhoods here, and they are okay. The ones that everybody talks about are good for what they talk about. The ones that no one mentions, they're actually still good too. People are living their lives in these neighborhoods. Yeah, people are living their lives and they're fine. They are safe. Again, we are in the second safest city in North America, or third, depending on the article you read. So yeah, any neighborhood is going to be good for you. It just depends on what you want out of your neighborhood.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I hear about I think that ours is great. Like, I think Central is awesome. But then I hear about other people who are further out and the stuff they get to do, and I'm like, man, that's cool. But same thing. As far as safety goes, I think it's basically, the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we say that, what we're saying is you can't be lax. You have to be still aware that you are living with other humans around you. You cannot leave your front door unlocked. You can't leave your valuables out. You can't put your purse down or your wallet down, or you leave your laptop on the counter at the coffee shop and walk away. That's just not logical. It has nothing to do with, you know, they're going to steal. Petty crime happens everywhere, and crime of opportunity is always present. The last thing we're going to talk about is cops. A lot of people talk about cops here because they're very, very, very present. And again, I'm still going with the low here, and the reason why is that the cops are here. They're going to be here, so you're going to have to adjust to that, and the American stuff that we have with that. Will you be pulled over? Possibly, yeah. Is it due to racism? I don't know. It could be. If you're walking at 1 o'clock at night, they may pull you over. I mean, they're going to pull you over anyway because you're not supposed to be out.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I've witnessed people getting pulled, being stopped who are walking late at night and basically told to go home. And that's, you know, just anybody, everybody.
Right. Will a shakedown occur? We have to pay? I don't think that happens as much in Merida. I think that other parts of Mexico, touristy parts, maybe some rural areas, there's a possibility. I think here you'd be hard pressed.
You will get stopped and get have to take a breathalyzer though in some areas, and it's very, very random.
Right.
So if you're one who is a little bit careless, you don't want to come here and be that kind of careless.
Right. You don't want to go to Mexican jail.
Yeah.
You don't want a DUI here. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be nice. You don't want a drunk in public here. I think there's like a 72-hour hold, and they don't feed you, from what I heard. So you have to have friends and family here to bring you some food and water, but you will be 72-hour hold. That's what I read recently. That was enough to scare me. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go to jail anywhere for 72 hours. I definitely don't want to go somewhere where somebody got to bring me some food and water. So, yeah. So after all those things, I give Merida an A+ for safety. How about you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're up there.
Yeah. We're very happy with our decision to move to Merida, and one of the reasons was because of safety, and it has met and surpassed all of our expectations, and we hope that we've given you some insight into Merida and the safety, so we've answered that question for you. I am Kat.
And Amber.
We'll see you in the next video, y'all. Peace and love.